You know how when you're arguing with somebody and you think of the perfect thing to say to them 3 hours later? That's me with this balcony. You see, the balconies on these sides of the buildings, I never really liked, and I couldn't figure out how to fix it. I tried running the stairs all the way around. I didn't like that. I tried breaking these this way. I didn't like that. Looking at it now, the solution is kind of obvious. We're going to do this, this, and this. And then this, this, and this. Smash this. See, we extend the balcony all the way to the edge. That makes so much sense, and I can't believe I didn't see that yesterday. So I'm going to go ahead and do that for all of the balconies, and then we will continue on with other building stuff today. Oh, that feels so much better. All right, the balconies on both buildings are extended all the way out now, and it looks so much better. Kind of like when I added the windows here that I didn't really talk about in the last episode, but and we're going to ignore the fact that I didn't apparently put windows on these ones. We're just going to ignore that and move on. Windows will magically appear there. It's fine. But now I have another obstacle to overcome, and that is the street. The street is obviously not actually going to be diamond blocks. We built these as placeholders. So we have to design a street that will fit in this tight of a space between the buildings. The center block of each street is going to be rails, because that's going to be like the streetcars would go down. And it has to obviously look good, not only against these buildings, but against whatever other buildings we decide to build out on the other squares. So we have to get to work on that, and when it is done, we'll see what it looks like. And here's the design of the street. Now, the rails do kind of blend into the street. I'm not sure I like that, but I think the silver against it does contrast enough to stand out, but we'll probably have to take a look at that down the line when we have more buildings in place. And if necessary, we will change the design of the street. But for now, I liked it, so I copied it out to the whole grid. And with that in place, I think it's time to tackle the first big project of this build. I just need to orient myself here. And that's going to be the downtown sports arena. So I'm kind of struggling on how big I want to make the sports arena. I'm thinking 2x3. I'm thinking 2x3, but I don't like how it would force it to kind of be like off-centered of the center line. Just like 2 blocks here, 1 there. Didn't really want to put it like down here, although I guess I could. Yeah, that's what we're going to do. So we're going to make it 2x3, this one right here. So we have the normal residential area here and the affluent area here. It'll be close to both of them, but closer to the residential area, as I think the average person would find more enjoyment in sports. And the wealthy area, it's still close if they want to, but they'll have other things that they want to do. So we may put something else either on that side of the downtown core, or we'll put obviously the put something in the affluent area. So we are going to go ahead and just want to make sure it's, yeah, so it's going to be these ones right here. So let's just find a block to mark it with. Let's go with gold blocks. So it's going to be those 6 squares right there. And now we have to both design it and build it. And I haven't thought about the design for this, so that's going to be fun. All right, let's get to work on that. And here we have the start of the arena. We have a platform up here. We're going to build it up a little bit. That way the street cart rails and all that can still go underneath it. And then the areas underneath here in between the streets we can use for like the businesses and concession stands and things like that. Now coming up here, I was going to make this an oval, but I had a thought that I think will work a little bit better. Hexagon. These are a little more tricky in Minecraft to make than you would think, but we got it figured out. So we are going to make a hexagonal arena, and the spaces out here, the rafters for seating will probably come back this way a little bit, and then we'll have some green spaces out here. And yeah, nothing to do now but get to actually building it. Now on each of these corners slash whatever you want to call them in a hexagon, we're going to have like support pillars, so there'll be a different block, probably I think iron blocks for those, and then we'll texture the rest of it of course as well. So let's get to building and we'll see what it looks like when it's done. Well, I did it again. I built something without considering how the exterior was going to look when it was done. And if I keep going, these arches are going to fit in here kind of awkwardly, and it's not going to look right because I didn't plan out the distance between the arches and all of that before I started building. This is the same thing that happened to me when I did my castle, my first Let's Play series, and I was trying to avoid having this happen again, but it happened, and therefore it has to go on the failure board. Yes, I have a failure board. This will be a way for me to track the things I did poorly while planning and building this city, and of course things I did well while planning and building the city. This will just help with the after building post-mortem, I guess. Basically where I break it down, see what I could have done better and what I did well, because the entire point of building this city is to improve myself as a builder. And there it is, added to the failure board. But now, of course, I have to figure out what to do about it. Not sure if I'm going to rip the whole stadium down or if I'm just going to try and make it fit in. But either way, we got to fix the problem that I created. And here we have the main structure is in. Now these areas here, look, building arches on diagonals isn't exactly easy, but it's fine. It came out all right. I may do some modifying, tweaking later. But for now, I really want to get the details of the stadium in. Namely the floor, the second level. Second level is going to be primarily seating, I think. And we also want access to down here for all the concessions and businesses that would be down here. So let's get the floor in and start building this thing out. All right, we went ahead and did the thing here. So this right now is set up for blood sport, but it could also be used to play some sports balls of different kinds. So how it'll work here is the contestant will come in, the iron gates would close behind them on both sides. They would then select a sword, shield, or crossbow. The iron bars would then have to shut, of course. I mean, it's not actually going to happen, but you know, it's one of those Minecrafty things that we want to make it look like it happens. And they proceed to battle, presumably to the death. But of course, this arena could also be set up for sports ball, so it's not just a blood sport arena, but isn't it the hallmark of modern civilizations to watch blood sport for fun? He said, ironically. Okay, so we need to do the second level now, which is going to be mainly seating. So we're gonna have to figure out the seating, how to get up there, which I think we're just going to go ahead and do water vators on these two pillars, since it looks like they're pretty well set up for that. So let's get the second layer in and see what we're left with. All right, seating and viewing area is in. Of course, we've got the bleachers up here where people can sit down to watch the blood sport going on. Doesn't have the greatest view of the spot that's closest to you, but most of the action should be out in like the center of the area, you would think. So I don't think that's a big issue. And then, of course, you got the areas up here where you can stand and watch, which would give you a slightly better view, but of course would also block out kind of the main area down here. I could potentially replace the fences with glass panes, but I do like having the fences. I feel it's more authentic, I guess is the word I'm looking for. Also, I have been playing around with trying to find a good resource pack that I liked, and I think I may have found one. Let me know what you guys think of. I've cycled through quite a few in the search for one, but I do like this one. Do like how everything looks. Really like the iron bars. It actually makes them look like bars, if that makes sense. So we'll leave this one on for a little while. Let me know what you guys think of it in the comments below. Yeah, the apartments still look okay. I really like these support pillars. Although I do think, especially if I'm going to leave this, I should probably replace these blocks with these blocks, but we'll let future Grim make that decision. So overall, I do like this resource pack, so I'll probably end up sticking with it for at least for a little while. Let me know what you guys think of it in the comments below, and I will be sure to link this in the video description if you want to check it out for yourself. All right, now we have to make this feel more lived in, I guess. We have to bring a little bit of life to the build here. So I'm actually going to cut these back to keep it in line with the build here. I just did that real quick to get a good starting point. And then we're going to bring some greenery out here. We're going to decorate the outside, decorate the inside a little bit. We're going to have an area down here where the contestants would be coming up from on each side. So we got to build all that in. But for now, let's get into decorating the outside here. And we did add some greenery to the outside here, as well as to the inside to just give it that little pop of color, just to bring a little bit of life into the inside. And one of the things I wanted to accomplish, especially with adding the extra glow berries and lanterns down here, is at night, if you'll notice, you still have to light up top because the people up top would still have to be able to see to get their seats and everything. But your eyes are naturally drawn to the lower level because that's where the action's going to be. And they're naturally drawn down there because there's a little more light down there. We might need to trim these trees back a little bit, but I don't think it's too big of a problem at the moment. But yeah, you couple the extra light with the extra greenery inside, and I think the stadium's really coming together here. Now, there is one thing I need to work on a little bit better is transitioning from the stadium to the greenery. I don't know if it's just the hard transition to white and then to green that's making it just too much of a divide. So I might have to replace the white concrete, but I want to do something to transition into here a little bit better as well. And then stuff on the outside, maybe put some bushes out here, just because there's a lot of just plain white concrete out here. So definitely making progress, but also still a lot of work to do here. It's the next day, and I've come up with an idea, I think, of how I want to tie all this together. See, the reason I didn't want to use dirt down here was from down here, you'd be looking up and like, oh, well, there's dirt just floating there. That doesn't really make it make sense. So I do think I came up with a way to fix that, though. So the first thing we have to do is replace all of this white concrete with various dirt blocks. So I'm going to go ahead and do that right now. And now that that is done, we do have to replace the perimeter blocks because otherwise the dirt would just fall out onto the street, and we don't want that. So we need some blocks to contain everything. And for that, I think we're going to use these chiseled stone bricks. So I'm going to go ahead and replace all these, and we'll see what that looks like when it's done. And underneath, so we don't have any floating dirt, we're going to use some trapdoors. However, I'm trying to decide which ones I like. I do like the iron trapdoors. I think that's the one I'm going to use, even though it has the openings that the dirt would theoretically fall through. But I think we can just kind of pretend that these are also filled with glass so that the dirt wouldn't be able to fall through. You know, we can break immersion for something like that versus having just a floor of dirt suspended, and I just broke that, versus having a floor of dirt just suspended on nothing. So I think we're going to use iron trapdoors. And one thing I also wanted to do, it might be a little too much, but we'll try it, because we're going to bring these all the way out to to the border here. And I think I also want to throw some up top just to kind of create that border a little harder from here to here. If we have just a little bit of a ridge there. I don't want to use a whole block or even a slab, so I think the iron trapdoors will work for that. So I'm going to go ahead and fill all this in, and we'll see what everything looks like when we're done, and we'll see if we like it or if we have to redo it. All right, and we are in, and we'll just break our way in. And so one thing I'm a little iffy about right now is, do I want the iron trapdoors going all the way, or do I just want to stop it, have it just for the dirt? So for instance, this is the dirt, this is the main floor, so we'd break probably like these ones and just say that these are tied together to hold the dirt up. Or if I want to leave the whole roof of this as iron trapdoors. That's something I didn't really think about when I had this idea, but for now we'll leave it. We may remove the iron trapdoors for everything inside the stadium floor, because the idea of this is that it's holding the dirt and we don't really need it for the stadium floor since there's no dirt there. But up top, I do like having this border in. Just that extra little ridge breaks it up a little bit. Makes it look a little more natural, both when you're up here and when you're looking at it from a distance. So I like that. Okay, time to move into here. And a few more things we want to do in here. First and foremost, we want to make the area that goes down to the change/locker room on both sides. We have to do that. And then we want to add just a few more details in here. Maybe add some guards with armor stands, things like that. Just to, again, make it a little more realistic that this would be an actual stadium. Probably put a couple of guys in here getting ready to fight. And then maybe we'll put a few spectators up here. And my decision on the trapdoors was almost kind of made for me a little bit. So this is where the contestants are going to have the area to go down to the locker room. And we need to build, obviously, wall this off so that people can't just, from here, can't go, oh, I'm just going to walk right into the locker room. And just with the trapdoors there, was going to make building things in a little bit difficult. It might still a little bit, but obviously we can break. I probably could have made it work. But I think it just makes more sense the way I have it anyway. So we're going to leave it like that for now, and we'll see how it all works out. But now we're going to build the locker room. And the change rooms are in. As you would expect, you can't see anything from the outside, so we have to go down the normal way, down the stairs. So use these sea lantern pillars, both as pillars and to add some light here, and I think that really works, plus a couple of lanterns. And then we should have a privacy wall here, and then a bench and some lockers. Of course, we've done this on both sides. They are exact copies of each other, so the contestants would come out after getting ready for their fight or sports ball or whatever they were doing. They would come out here. If it's the fight, they would select a weapon, and then they would proceed to do battle with each other. Okay, and the next thing to do is to add the guards and employees around the stadium. So let's get that in right now. Okay, and the spectators are in, and down here we have a few guards. We're probably going to add a few villagers just to get some motion and some more life to it, but I want to do that when everything's kind of done and in, and I don't have to worry about, am I moving this, am I moving that? Yeah, so for now, this will work just fine. Now we want to set our sights down here. We want to bring a bunch of the concessions and things like that you would see in a stadium / sports arena / whatever you want to call this. So we want to bring some of that down here. And then, of course, we want to have a couple of ways for the people to get from down here up to here. Yeah, we want to have a couple of stairways to bring people up here, because if you're going to have these green zones with the trees and bushes and everything up here, you definitely want to have ways that the average people could get up here to participate in that area. And of course, they could stand down here and watch too if they were so inclined, provided they didn't cause any trouble, which would cause the guards to have to throw them out of here. But I think I got a little off topic there. Let's get some of these concessions in. All right, and the bottom level is done. Here we have a mock-up where the viewers can participate in mock battles. Obviously, you use wooden swords and stuff, things that would not be as dangerous as the actual contestants would be using, but it's there nonetheless. We also have two ways up to the main level. We have a stairwell here, and we have a stairwell in the opposite corner that all citizens could use freely. Next, we have a couple of shops and concessions and stuff. That's these two are just mirrored off each other. We have potions being sold here. Gift shop here. I have to change that sign. Pets and Pals selling buckets of fish and axolotl. We have Golden Grits here selling the golden versions of food. Effortless Enchant selling enchanted book. And then we have the replica commemorative armor shop selling all the replica armor that the contestants would be wearing. In the final square here, we have food and snacks. Just random food, some cookies, some pie, things like that. Novelty commemorative weapons. These are novelty ones that they wouldn't actually be sharp, but you can buy to take home to give to your kids and stuff. And then we have an actual game here. Hit the target and win a prize. We don't know what the prize is. The game is pretty easy, so the prize would be pretty minimal, but nonetheless, we have it. And then, of course, we have villagers staffing all of the shops. We have to get a few more villagers in here. Let's go ahead and do that now. And we had to cut the blocks down to half slabs around here just to make sure that the villagers didn't escape on me, because they were escaping. So unfortunately, that means, like in this guy, he's just sort of trapped down a little bit lower than I'd like, but it is what it is. And then, of course, as I mentioned, we have the stairwell on this side, brings you up. And then from here, if you wanted, you could take the bubble vader up to the top level where you could watch from above. But, of course, viewers would be allowed to spectate from down here, provided they weren't causing any trouble. Overall, this took a little bit longer to put together than I would like, but I am happy with it. And considering it is the downtown anchor, I think it's okay that it took that long. I'm a little concerned about the size it's taking, because it has taken up quite a bit of the downtown core, but I think that's okay. We got plenty of room to work with in the downtown core still. So, also, while it looks really good in vanilla, it looks so much better with that resource pack. So I am very much happy with that, and we'll probably keep that one on. Alright everyone, that's going to be all for today. If you made it this far in the video, thank you for watching. Don't forget to subscribe if you enjoyed the video so you don't miss the next one, and let me know what you think of the stadium in the comments below. Until next time everyone, remember, The Lord of the Rings are heist movies.